Hi, LiberAnarchy here. I was just sent a video that raised my ire. It was called The Islamic View of Slavery. And the reason it raised my ire is for the same reason that a Jesus Freak video a long time ago raised my ire. Here we have people saying, oh, but our form of slavery is a kinder, gentler form of slavery. Because this is in our book, and because it's described in a sort of kind of nicer way than most slavery, that makes it okay. Now, one of the things they were saying is, oh, back in the day that Muhammad was writing, slavery was a common practice all over the world. Yeah, and so and yes, there are things that are like slavery, like indentured servitude, and there was a system of thraldom in Europe. But first of all, if the Islamic system of slavery is more like indentured servitude, as you were saying, then call it indentured servitude. And that isn't, kinder and gentler. I do not want to resurrect systems of indentured servitude and thraldom. I don't think that these things are good things for this day and age. I don't like these arrangements. And just because people did them back then, just because they were commonplace, doesn't mean that they are good for us now, today. And just because it was a very common practice, lots and lots of people did it, doesn't mean that it was good. And there was one fellow saying that the slavery was not based in race in the Islamic world. So that doesn't make it somehow better if I want to base a slavery on hair color, or if I want to base a slavery on surname, or if I want to base it on religion or something. That does not make that does not make it a better system. And I was an idiot. I wasn't thinking. I had a brain fart and I deleted the video, so I can't find the link, so I can't put it in the crotch bar. I can say that I will look for the video, and if I find it, I'll stick it down here. But I can't just not respond to this video. Defending slavery and saying that it's okay because a holy book says that it's okay and says that there are some stipulations, that doesn't make it an okay system or a good system. There was one argument saying that, well, Islam encourages you to spend money on helping slaves. It encourages you to free slaves. Well, that's good. How about having a system where slavery is not acceptable? I mean, you can still have a system where you can free slaves. Even now, there are people who are trafficked. It's called human trafficking, and it is slavery against their will. And a lot of these are children. And you don't have to say that, oh, a kinder, gentler form of slavery is okay, oh, but we should help slaves. You can still help those people. So, it's a lot of double talk is what it is. And, I don't like getting in fights with people on YouTube, but this is pretty sick. I'll read you some definitions. Some important definitions. I'm not going to read the whole bit of what a slave is. World English Dictionary. Okay. A person legally owned by another and having no freedom of action or right to property. 2. A person who is forced to work for another against his will. A person under the domination of another person, this is 3, person or of some habit or influence, example, a slave to television. 4, a person who works in harsh conditions for low pay. And that would be what people would call wage slavery. Now, slavery is a harsh thing. This is not something that should be condoned. This is not an okay thing. This is the kind of thing that people of all religions and people who are not religious attempt to solve, okay? Slavery is a problem. This is not an okay system. And if you want to tell me that this is okay because, well, we're not talking about that kind of slavery. The slave isn't completely disempowered. Well, then call it something else. And even if you are calling it something else, like indentured servitude, then it's still not an ideal system. It's still not a good system. It's still not a system that should necessarily be kept around. People in indentured servitude were still treated pretty badly. Okay. So, this is a lot of double talk. I think it's pretty disgusting, actually, and it's rather dismaying that in 2011, on the internet, I'm sitting in a first world country, and I'm seeing a video that I'm about to cry. Seriously. Fuck. Excuse my language. I'm trying not to cuss here. I'm trying to make this a video that, everyone can watch without... But this is not okay. If you really want to help people in bondage, like your religion says that you should, or that maybe you just want to, out of the goodness of your heart, then by all means do that. You don't have to tell us that slavery is okay. And the video is full of examples of people who are encouraging this. But I'm done. I'm not going to start ranting.